And we are back from our little commercial break with the men's U17 double A/B semifinal, where semifinal number 2, we're in lane 1, we will have V Skulls, lane 0 V Skulls, lane 1 Oregon Unlimited, lane 2 Germantown Friends, lane 3 Belmont, lane 4 Rockland, lane 5 Conestoga, lane 6 Seattle Scullers, and lane 7 Episcopal School of Dallas.
Again, a really good lead here, sort of in that outside lane, the V Skulls lane, doing a great job. But that second through fourth,
and we have a nice little drone shot here.
Yeah, definitely. So I think it's showing us that V Skulls out in lane 0 is out in front. Then I would say second is Germantown Friends. And that Philly. And then probably a hair ahead, Oregon Unlimited over Belmont, skipping a lane over. And then what would you say? Probably Conestoga, Seattle Scullers out there in that next position.
Yeah, it's still very, very tight. And the way this angle is, I mean, it's very hard to see that minor because it's tight. But I'll agree with that one. It looks like V Skulls is definitely taking a lead here throughout the first half of this piece, and it looks like they are not letting up one bit. So we'll see if they can maintain that. But they'll be followed by close behind by Germantown Friends, and then it'll be Oregon Unlimited, and then Belmont. I will say will be in that first 4 contention, but Rockland, Conestoga, Seattle Scullers, and Episcopal School of Dallas are not out of it. So,
yeah, and I can see Oregon Unlimited really holding on to that contact with the stern deck of Germantown Friends out to their left. I mean, I remember being in races, and when you've got overlap on a crew, you do not want to lose it. You want to do everything within your power to keep that contact as you go down the race course.
Exactly. And so, again, it's all about that responding and being able to, I mean, if you see a club or a team trying to move on you, do you have to pick anything up, or can you just hold off that move because they're going to slow down after that move? And so you then make your move after. It's all about, the strategy and the and just the way, especially with these smaller boats, again, because it's a longer race. You're exerting yourself. You got to learn. You got to know yourself, know your body, and learn. When am I going to burn out all these matches? I mean, I have a set amount of matches. When am I going to burn them? Is it going to be the first 500? Is it going to be that third 500? Or is it going to be the last 200 where we just light the fire and just go?
Absolutely. I mean, and it's tough in those small boats because it's also yourself and it's also working with your teammate. And again, not having a coxswain in here to sort of communicate that in real time. You either build that with your teammate in your training, and then you also have these trust experiences in the races.
Right.
They have all gone through their time trials yesterday to advance until today. So V Skulls out there, and they were clearly the lead of this pack yesterday in the time trial. Oregon Unlimited was second, but very closely followed behind by some of these other crews in the race. So it's interesting to see the spread again when you compare time trial to side by side, especially in the small boats. I think it's definitely a mental game more when you don't have the coxswain to tell you when to make these moves and when to stay on the ball.
Right, exactly. And so, again, we have this little sliding effect here. We don't really have like the zigzag. We have a little zigzag on the outside lanes here with Conestoga, Seattle Scullers, Episcopal School of Dallas.
Germantown kind of having a little bit of an upset as far as the intended or expected seeding in this race, kind of pulling out ahead of the crews next to him, Oregon Unlimited. They are definitely ahead of the field, then followed by Belmont and Rockland and Conestoga. A little bit farther behind the pack, Seattle Scullers and Episcopal School of Dallas. But again, it's really fun to see that change.
Right. And so that's like having that, that chip on your shoulder. You're just like, oh, well, we were seated, here, but that doesn't mean that that's where we're going to finish.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's really interesting to watch. So Germantown Friends was about 4 seconds to maybe 5 seconds behind the crew that's out in front currently. But I would wager to bet that gap is smaller today than it was yesterday.
For sure, because they can see them right there. Again, it's a different vibe, the different mental execution that you have to have in comparison to that time trial where it's just you and your teammate, depending upon the boat that you're in. And so this is a little bit different because now you got somebody to pace off of. Now you got you see somebody, you need to beat them to the finish line. Mm-hmm. And I like what you said earlier about the crosshairs to the finish. Like that just captures that moment. Like we are trying to get there the fastest, and that is our target.
Tunnel vision. And tunnel vision is definitely what people have when it comes to the last 250 meters. Like all of these U17 men's doubles are right now. Definitely seeing V-Skulls out there in front. And then a battle here. We did see a little bit of a flip-flop, I believe, between Oregon Unlimited and Germantown Friends. They have a really interesting race happening there. They are then followed by Belmont. Rockland having a really neck-and-neck race against Conestoga next to them. And then Seattle Scullers and Episcopal going for it here in this race.
So like V-Skulls will come away with that first ticket punched to the A final, and it looks like it'll be followed by Oregon Unlimited, who will punch that second ticket, and then third will look like Germantown Friends will punch that third ticket with one more ticket on the line, which looks like it will be going to Belmont, and Rockland will follow right behind, and Conestoga follow right behind them.
Yeah, and interesting, you're talking about the matches, and like if everyone's starting out with the same set of matches at the beginning of a race and being able to plan when are you going to take out those matches? Are you going to kind of burn a couple at the start to get the race up and going, and then how are you going to expend that energy as the race goes on? And it's interesting to see some of that switch up occur, like Germantown Friends out in front, and then